Good evening, and welcome to Friends of Griffin, my new podcast. It's been a while. I've missed you all. Some of you have missed me as well. But I am not alone. It wouldn't be Friends of Griffin, as we all know, without some internet friends. I am joined this week by, I suppose this would make her my number one friend, Niléane. Welcome.
Wow, okay. Hello. Yes, I am the number one friend of many people.
And what about your cat?
And my cat is just my friend. I keep her to myself.
That's fair. That's fair.
You caught me, like I just got out of the shower, so I'm on a wet hair day, see? My hair's still wet.
I did as well, because I am still unemployed, and so I woke up very late today, pretty much just before this recording.
Yeah.
Showered, shaved, here we are.
Wait, what time is it for now? For you now?
Oh, just afternoon.
Okay. Oh, you're in the past. You still have
I think we're 6 hours apart, right?
Yeah. I guess so. For me, it's 6 p.m.
Good day today? Weather looks nice.
No.
Okay. I've got a window in front of me, so I'm keeping all of the lovely weather to myself. You don't get to know whether it's good. I mean, it's Ohio. It's not that great. You could just guess that. But anyways, let's move on with the news. I've been gone for 2 months, just talking to myself for hours. Nobody's been here to listen to me. So this is slightly.
So you need a fix, right? You need.
I need to get my fix in. I need to get it out of my system. Building up opinions and takes. If a take falls in a forest and no one's here to like and subscribe, then did it even happen?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, regardless, we're going to go through some of the last few months of news, including up to the breaking news just this very morning. So let's start off. 404 Media has been on kind of like a tear this summer. I've been following them since the beginning, but they've got a lot of breaking news, especially about Apple. These worlds collided. They've also been talking about Flock and ice and all sorts of other lovely things we're experiencing in the United States. But then this came across a few months ago. Apple hide my email vulnerability reveals people's real email addresses. That's
yay.
Not what that's for.
That's exactly what you expected.
So a researcher named Tyler Murphy of Easy Opt-Outs, he probably knows something about this. Apple Hide My Email is leaking email addresses that are supposed to be hidden. We reported the issue and replication instructions to Apple over a year ago. We don't know why it hasn't been fixed. Hide My Email users deserve to know that it may be possible for attackers to discover their hidden email addresses. Literally, the one thing it is supposed to do, it does not do. They reported this on July 1st, and apparently they fixed it just a few days later on July 3rd, but they spoke to the news about it again a couple weeks later on the 21st, where they fixed the vulnerability, thankfully. If I spooked you just now, don't worry. The situation has been resolved. That's the benefit of doing, a podcast months later. I can break the bad news and then, good news, it's already done.
I guess so. This is literally like the worst thing that can happen to this feature. It's called Hide My Email. But it turns out it will show your email.
Yeah.
But now it hides it again. So I guess.
Now we know what was wrong with it. They didn't want to report what the vulnerability was initially because people could still exploit it. But, quote, now that Apple says it has been fixed, we can add that in simple terms, it required sending a target Hide My Email user a message that got rejected as spam, and then the mail transfer logs sent to the sender would reveal the user's real email address. So basically, they sent an email that they knew Apple would log as spam, and then that would send back one of those automated mail undelivered to sender or something, and then that would reveal the actual email address in that message. So pretty simple. They weren't doing some advanced email, a picture with a JPEG or a GIF in it and exploit some bizarre file format thing.
This is even worse because This is intended to use with, like, when you're signing up to an online service you don't trust necessarily, and you think your email might end up on a spam list or whatever, and turns out it will reveal the email specifically if it's marked as spam. Okay.
Who are you specifically trying to avoid?
Oh my God.
In the wake of that, PC Magazine reports that Apple is facing a class action lawsuit, obviously, seeking full recovery of the subscription prices customers paid for the feature, as well as an injunction against Apple's alleged deceptive conduct. Yeah, especially if Apple knew about this being broken for a year. I think they've got some ground. They've got grounds for a legitimate lawsuit here.
Yeah, that's bad.
I'm wondering, though, how would they determine how much Apple needs to pay people back for this? Because, as you know, Hide My Email is part of iCloud Plus. So you're mostly paying your subscription price for the iCloud storage. And then all of these bonus features are just sort of thrown on there, Hide My Email and HomeKit secure video for some reason. And a bunch of other Apple privacy features. If ever they have a tiny service that they want to run, but they don't want to charge it on its own, no one's going to actually pay $1 a year for Hide My Email. Well, they just throw it onto iCloud Plus. So it's a part of that subscription, but
I don't
determining
know
how much of the value comes from that in the $20 a month you pay for 2 terabytes is be interesting to work out.
I don't know. In here, class action lawsuits, they're not a thing. So really? I actually have no idea how that works. Don't ask me why. I don't. Because our judicial systems are extremely different in the way that they work.
In that they're functional?
Yeah. No.
I see.
No. I mean, sure, but the U.S. inherits from the Anglo-Saxon kind of system, if I understand that right, and we have a different system, and. Yeah, and they're not a thing, so I have no idea how that would be decided, actually.
Yeah, and it's always interesting because not all of these features are available in every territory, but supposedly they'd probably be liable for a lawsuit in each somebody could do an equivalent of a class action lawsuit in the UK well.
For sure,
I imagine.
Yeah, here as well. Yeah, I guess so.
Well, so if there's no class action lawsuits, how would something like this go through a court system? How would Apple be fined by the European Commission? I mean,
sure, but that's a regulatory way of going about things. You complain to the European Commission, or you can complain to one of the French institutions that's in charge of regulating that kind of things. But in terms of judicial procedures, what you can do is constitute yourself as a civil party to a case that must be opened by some moral entity, such as an association, a non-profit, an NGO, something like that. I think that would be the main way that people would go about this if they wanted to sue Apple over this.
So do you use Hide My Email?
No. I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
I mean, it sounds like you have reason not to.
Yeah, but it's not why I didn't trust it. I don't trust it because of the way it works, the feature itself. What it does is it creates this weird jumbled email address, right? And I don't know, it feels weird to me that I'm not aware of what that email is, what kind of email that's going to be created. That I'm not going to be able to find that email address by myself.
You can, but it's a giant pain in the ass. You go to settings, tap on your name at the top, tap iCloud, and then you have to tap Hide My Email, and then you have to search for what you think the website might be, and then it'll bring up and you can copy it. It's not really well integrated with other features. I anytime, Safari knows that I'm on that website that I have a Hide My Email set up for, or using an app that I have it set up for, then that should be the suggested autocomplete. If I ever tap on a field that's asking for my email address, it doesn't do that. If I go to create a password, Sometimes it recommends it as an autofill, like, oh, this is your username for this website. It's a hide my email that you created. But sometimes it doesn't, and so I have to go and dig it out. It's kind of annoying. So you're probably wise to avoid it. And the other problem is that underneath it, you're using Apple's email service, which is not the best. Their spam filtering is not very good at all. A lot of obvious spam messages go to my inbox. A lot of emails that I'm actually looking for go to my junk. So I have to check my junk mail as like a second inbox. And a lot of times when Apple finds a junk mail that they're confident is a junk mail, which I'm not confident in their ability to judge, I just never even receive it at all. It doesn't even get delivered.
Okay.
The point though is if you create a hide my email, all other emails that other people try to send you, just get rejected. You never see them. So that if I sign up for a sketchy website and then they sell my email address on like a marketing list to somebody else, they can't email me. But a lot of times, like this comes up with Kickstarter a lot. Like if you sign up for a Kickstarter and you use hide my email for it, then the people running the Kickstarter campaign can't email you because they don't have a Kickstarter.com email address. Like it's hard for them to reach you. Like that's a notorious problem with the service as well.
Right, I did hear some people having trouble with that. Yes.
So it's not perfect, but I still use it anyway because
You do?
I don't know. I do. I'm not too happy about it, but I do it.
Why?
Because I started fresh with a bunch of like iCloud email addresses just a few years ago. They launched the thing where you can have like a custom domain. So my dgriffinjones.com email addresses, I have a few of those. So I can, give out people, feedback at dgriffinjones.com, which is my public one. And I have a few others. And they all just go to the same inbox and I can send emails all from the same inbox. It's really clean and it doesn't cost anything more. I don't have to like use a third-party service to manage my email. It's just part of iCloud.
Okay.
I didn't want all of these email addresses to be like immediately leaked and just be in the same situation I was with my like 20-year-old Gmail account. So I use hide my email to like try and curb that a little bit, but it's not terribly successful. I don't know. An attempt was made. I figured like if I want to start fresh, I want to try and do it right and see if I can get it to work. But that's not the end of the story though. We've also got another 404 Media story from August 5th. Apple's private relay is exposing users' real IP addresses.
So it's literally the same thing. It's the worst thing that could happen to the future.
A series of issues in WebKit means that iCloud Private Relay, which is supposed to hide a user's IP address, in many cases doesn't actually work. Any website that supports or pretends to support passkeys can see the user's real IP address despite having iCloud Private Relay on. Because when you access a website with a passkey, the operating system uses like a special like credential service that goes around Safari.
Yeah.
But of course, Private Relay only works in Safari. It's not a system-wide VPN. So the destination server can see the device's real IP address.
Mm-hmm.
They have like a website that you can go to like test this yourself. Like you go to this website and you're supposed to have iCloud Private Relay on it. It'll just tell you, oh yeah, you're in Gary, Indiana. I know that.
Oh, that's smart to make an actual demo of the issue.
Yeah. And like even if you use a browser like the Tor browser, which is supposed to use like a special, peer-to-peer connection. It's supposed to be incredibly private.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, the problem is passkey authentication goes around the browser. It uses a system connection that doesn't use Relay or it doesn't use the Tor network. So that'll leak your IP address as well. Yikes. And you can set up a website that doesn't even have an account system, but still like asks the browser, "Oh, do you have a passkey?" And that'll spoil it.
Okay.
So that's fun.
Yeah, I don't trust it either. Anyway, I don't use this. Also because I hate Safari with my entire guts. And it's only available in Safari. But also like it's also kind of like VPNs in general. there is a vibe of false advertising all around these services. Yeah, your connection can be really private. Your ISP won't know what you're doing. The government won't know what you're doing. But at least someone will know, right?
Yeah.
The person hosting the service,
them.
yes. So the VPN provider, or in this case, Apple, right? Maybe, I don't know. Is it encrypted? I don't know.
They say.
They say. This is a general thing that people should be aware of. Like, sure, there can be an advantage to using those kind of services. It may help you feel better, but it can give you a false sense of security and lower your guards on so many things.
Do you have a VPN?
No. I mean, like, I will use one when I need one, right? Mm-hmm. In which case, I will sign up. This is my trick. When I need a VPN, for some reason, I will sign up to a random VPN service. Most of them have a free trial, right? Take advantage of a free trial, create a fake email address to sign up so I can redo the same thing with that same service maybe another time.
You can use hide my email.
No. I'm not using that. And there you go. That's how I get free VPNs, because I barely use it. Also, but I understand, like, in some countries, it's hard. Mm-hmm. Like, you may need to use that all the time almost to counter, like, some legal blocks put in place on the internet in some places. So that makes sense. It's the least worse scenario to use a VPN in those cases. So, yeah.
It just makes sure your VPN isn't owned by, like, Russian investors or Saudi Arabia or something.
Yeah.
I have a VPN that is not very good. The app is pretty terrible. One in every 5 times I launch the app, it spins for a minute straight, and I just have to wait for it to give me the option to reinstall it.
Oh.
It's supposed to have a split tunnel feature so that, Tailscale, for example, runs outside the VPN. That just doesn't work. So when I launch the VPN, I have to turn off Tailscale manually. And when I quit it, I have to turn it back on. I don't want to name and shame them.
Why?
because I haven't actually told them about any of these problems. I've been too lazy. But
that's okay. Who cares?
That's true. It's called Intego Privacy Protection. Okay. I only use it because, like,
how dare you name and shame? I didn't think you would do it. No, I'm kidding.
Took very little convincing because I also don't like it very much. But 4 years ago, they did a sponsored post on Cult of Mac, and so I got a free account. Okay. And so I've just been using that for the last 4 years.
Oh.
And I also kind of don't want to email them because I don't want them to know that I've been using it for free for the last 4 years. Oh. And it's also, like, not a service that, like, I go to their website now, and I think they've moved their business model on. Like, now they want to sell you, like, a sort of, like, all-inclusive Mac security bundle. So I don't know if I could pay for just the VPN even if I wanted to. So I really don't want to bring any attention to it, which is why I'm just telling you, my close friends.
All right. I won't say anything.
They're not listening.
No.
They don't even know how to make a Mac app. Okay. This is a huge story. I don't know how much I have to say about it that hasn't already been said, but I feel like we have to address it if we're trying to cover the last 2 months of news. Apple sues OpenAI over trade secrets. Michael Tsai, who runs a blog where pretty much the premise is he just summarizes what everybody else is saying about a particular topic. I mean, he's got a good roundup of all this. Basically, Apple said it uncovered evidence of a months-long scheme to steal confidential information. Apple says OpenAI hardware lead and former Apple designer Tang Tan and former electrical engineer Chang Liu directed Apple employees interviewing with OpenAI to provide details on unreleased devices, components, manufacturing processes, and vendor relationships. This is absolutely insane. That they have apparently a bunch of evidence. They've been, like, sitting on this and, like, building up a case for months and months. Apple engineers interviewing at OpenAI were, like, encouraged to bring hardware in and do, like, a show and tell to OpenAI engineers. They lied to manufacturers, getting them to reveal like exclusive metal manufacturing processes that like, were supposed to be exclusive to Apple, saying, oh yeah, we have permission. You can show us how to finish this aluminum in this proprietary way. Yeah, we have permission. They did not. They just took their word for it.
You have permission, right? Right?
Yeah. Absolutely crazy. And OpenAI's response has been middling at best. However, MJ Siegler writes, while Apple frames OpenAI as rotten to its core, interesting terminology, they really only have a case against 2 and maybe 3 individuals, but they also clearly believe that if this case goes to trial, they will have a case against a lot more. So, yeah, most of the allegations are against the, like, Tang Tan, Chang Lu, directing a bunch of interviewees to do these things for them and, break the law.
Yeah.
But, I think that a big question comes down to, is this like an institutional directive at OpenAI? Like, where did this start? Interestingly, they don't name Johnny Ive. It's only these few, like their names don't appear anywhere, even though they would probably have some knowledge of this going on. Like how much, the big question is, how much does OpenAI know about this? Was Sam Altman surprised?
So, you know me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what kind of take I have on these things. I think they all know. They all in on it at OpenAI. They knew damn well what they were doing. And this will be very fun to watch from afar as us.
Absolutely delicious to watch.
Because, yeah, this will be a Netflix documentary or something.
This will be the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, this is going to last years, to be clear.
Oh yeah.
Like, it'll be, I mean, the discovery process, that'll open up a huge can of worms. Like, we're getting out the popcorn for this one.
Yeah.
Johnny Ive was is like a, he was Apple's darling and child since the mid '90s. He designed the Apple Newton,
Which is why he's very likely to have orchestrated this. I'm just throwing theories now. He's the brain of the operation.
You think he's behind this? Not like, oh, they are all trying to do this and hide it from Johnny.
I don't know. I want, like, I'm trying to be the ultimate gossip girl and imagine things and imagine what the documentary will be about. And yes, I think it will reveal that he's the brain of everything. And like you're saying, he was the favorite child of Apple. And this is why whatever happened between him and Cook and the others that led him to depart from the company, mad and clanking doors on the way out.
Trying to slam those glass doors that have like a little soft close mechanism, so he's just
trying to break his own doors. It's because, yes, that's why he was very dear to them and he felt extremely betrayed to a very sensitive level, right? And
who do you think would play Johnny Ive in the movie?
Who would play Johnny Ive? I don't know any actors. Like, I know
me neither. That's why I'm asking you.
I know Oscar Isaac and and Tobey Maguire and
Oscar Isaac. I could see him as a John Turnus.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
I don't think he's tall enough though.
Yeah. Tom Hanks is our Johnny Ive. He's too old. Too old.
Yeah. I was gonna say like Bruce Willis just because he's bald, and I feel like he could bulk up for the role, but he's almost he's at the end of his acting career.
No.
Open question. Write in. How you would.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see the weather changing? Like the lighting on my face keeps changing, and I'm now blinded by sunlight, which is very annoying. I can barely see you. No, I'm just kidding.
I imagine most people will probably be listening anyways. I'll be curious what the mix of audio listeners to video listeners is. I guess I should say, if you're listening in Apple Podcasts, there is a video version of this as well on my YouTube channel.
You're doing that?
Yeah. I don't have I have a dormant YouTube channel that didn't have that many subscribers to begin with, because before launching this podcast, I ran a project called Wikiredia, where
Okay.
the entire premise would be I would read a Wikipedia article top to bottom, and that was it. And I got 164 subscribers. So I'm reusing that same YouTube channel for this podcast, and that's where I'm starting at.
But
Not a
will
great
be on
jumping off
video
point.
in Apple Podcasts.
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna. Well, I figured as far as podcasts go, I was gonna go for Libsyn, and they say they're launching Apple Podcast videos at some point in the future, but not yet.
Not yet.
I want to do that though, because we had that briefly on the Cult of Mac podcast, and it was a lot of fun. I went with Libsyn because it's not trying to do too much. I was looking at Beehive at first, but I was like, okay, this is a little too much. I don't need a newsletter. I don't need all these features. I kind of want to do like most of the work hosting the podcast myself. I just need you to like serve MP3 files. So I went with Libsyn.
Yeah.
Libsyn also has dynamic ad insertion, which is, I know it's not a great experience, but it's probably what I'll need to do for a while at first. Starting from scratch. I won't have any. I legitimately have no clue how many listeners I'm going to get. Yeah, good luck try selling ads that way.
Have you ever wondered what it takes to launch a business? I'm doing a dynamic ad.
Oh yeah, good. I mean, I don't think I'll have dynamic ads on this episode, but it's coming because I haven't actually launched an episode yet, so I probably won't be approved for a while.
Okay.
but it's a coming. You'll hey, first one's free, as they say. Libsyn also supports. What do you call it? If I want to launch like an ad-free version down the line, I'd be able to do a members-only version ad-free on there. So it seems to have everything I want. It's also not. It's pretty cheap. Like they're not going to charge me per listener. The alternative was I just raw dog it and just host an MP3 file on my website and just do it all myself. I tried setting that up for a while, but yeah.
Okay. Do you know what raw dog means?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Just throw an MP3 file on my website. But like,
Just to
and
make
then I had to
sure.
look up the limits of GitHub pages, and that might have caused a problem there because like the total size of my website can't be bigger than like a gigabyte. I can't upload files bigger than 25 megabytes. So I would have to like really compress these MP3s, and they do eventually like slow you down. Like the traffic isn't unlimited, but I like how Libsyn only charges you based on how many hours you upload a month. They don't care how many downloads you get. So if I unexpectedly get like 100,000 listeners on this episode, I won't be, I'll be ready for that.
Yeah.
So go wild, everybody. Send this podcast to your friends if you're enjoying it so far. Apple upgrade. This is This is what they announced.
All of this is so depressing. Like, what is Apple doing? It's the depressing company now. Like,
Apple upgrade managed by Klarna replaces the iPhone upgrade program and expands it to other product categories so you can pay to lease an iPhone, Apple Watch, iPad, or Mac and trade it in after either 2 or 3 years. I spoke about this on Tech News Weekly with Micah Sargent, but
what's your take?
overall, I compared it to the Apple Card monthly installments, which is another thing that's exclusive to the United States that doesn't affect anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you want a new iPhone, MacBook Pro, I mean, you could use this as just like a financing thing where like you sign up for Apple upgrade without the intention to upgrade it regularly, but you just like use it as a cheaper way to finance your MacBook Pro for a while and then just like pay out the balance at the end.
Yeah.
And it is remarkable how much money you can save doing that. At least like the monthly payments will be a lot lower. Like on the Apple Card, say you buy an iPad Pro, that's $100 a month for a year. Well, on Apple Upgrade, it's $25 or just over a 3-year period. So you're saving $300 cumulatively. If the monthly payment is all that matters to you, then it's between a third to a quarter as much, which is pretty. I mean, that's not nothing if you're buying a new Mac Studio or something.
Yeah. I understand that this is useful to some people. This makes me remember when I turned 18, and I left my island to come to France, and I had to buy my first computer myself. And I had 2,000 euros on my bank account, and that's it. That was all my things, just 2,000 euros on a bank account. And I needed that money to eat and pay rent, etc. So I could not just spend all the 2,000 and buy a MacBook with that. But and I wanted a MacBook, of course. So I had to, like, my bank at the time, I had a special account for students, so they have like short-term loans specifically for this, so that you can buy a computer, things like that. So I got one of those for 1,500 euros, I remember, paid out over 12 months.
What do you get?
MacBook Pro 2015.
Oh, that's what I had as well. The early 2015, the last good one for a while.
Yeah, and it's still alive and well in my home right now. It's running Linux now. The battery has been taken out.
Mine is alive and not well because the battery is swelling inside.
There you go.
Really
it happened to mine
out.
as well. I took it out years ago now, and now it's basically a server with a screen. It's running Arplex server, we store files on there. It has a bunch of HDDs plugged into it with a hub, and it's plugged in via Ethernet to the router directly, so it's got a good connection. Our homemade server. It's an old 2015 MacBook Pro, still running all perfectly well using Ubuntu.
I really got to do that to mine. It's a legitimate fire hazard.
Yeah, oh yeah, take it out.
Did you have the screen replaced on it, or
yes, the coating got all messed up. Yes, and they had a free replacement program. Exactly.
That was great because I used it had like a dent in the aluminum around the screen, but then I got it replaced and I was like, now it's perfect again.
Nice. Because they replaced the whole top part, right? Yeah.
Because the display is like fused to the actual like glass and the aluminum on the back. The bottom though, around like the keyboard, I must have like extremely oily, like slightly acidic hands, because on every MacBook Pro that I've had, like the aluminum starts to like chip away.
Chip away.
Yeah. Like,
but that's metal. How are you doing this?
I don't know, but like if you look on my MacBook Pro, there's like a bunch of like little chips in the corner. If you look at my 2008 MacBook Pro, which I had before that, it's like it's slowly getting eaten away around the palm rest. Like it's not silver anymore. It's like there's like these patches of black underneath. I don't know. It's starting to happen to my keyboard too.
Are you okay? Okay.
I don't know.
Do you drink water?
A lot of water, but
do you drink liquid methane or something?
On this keyboard, like that looks like it's a stain, like it's dirty, but no, that's just like the paint on my keyboard, like wearing away underneath my hands.
Okay, interesting. Maybe stop using metal things. I don't know.
It's my worst superpower.
You can try one of those vinyl covers, the D-brand stuff or whatever, right?
Well, I converted to the Mac right at like the beginning of the Intel era. Yeah. And so like silver, aluminum, and black, those are like the quintessential Apple colors in my mind. I always want all of my accessories to be like bright silver and black. And that it's incompatible with the slight acidity of my hands, I suppose.
Well, I'm sorry.
Anyways, Apple upgrade. A few details that I didn't write about originally. It's not available outside the United States. So if you're in France, you have to pay the full, slightly higher price. And Apple upgrade also only works with like a few of the major carriers. So if you've got like Mint Mobile or one of the other MVNOs, or they won't let you buy it. It's probably like some carrier thing.
But right now in France, we have an option to finance. How does that work? How is it different? Let me like look at the website. I want an iPhone 17, 1,219 euros, or 15 euro 79 cents per month for 24 months at 0% of interest, right? with CTLM. Oh, yeah, okay, CTLM. I know CTLM. That's a French bank, I believe.
Okay.
And it's a 0% thing, so that's fine. It
Yeah,
exists.
Okay. Other options exist.
Yeah, it exists. I would never do this, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You like to buy them yourself. I mean, I also would never use Apple Upgrade. I use the Apple Card monthly installments because you get the 3% cash back on that. And again, you own it. Like Klarna just gives me the ick. They appear everywhere. Klarna and Affirm, like any website you go to now, like Walmart, Best Buy, Menards, Lowe's. It's always like, you can pay for this hot dog over 4 payments bi-weekly for 79 cents.
That's very
Why would I do
strange.
that? Are those names like international as well in Europe? Do you have Klarna in Europe?
Yeah. Yeah, Klarna is, I see it on French online shops often now, but...
So if Klarna is I mean, the thing about the Apple Card is that the Apple Card is partnered with Goldman Sachs. They're moving it to Chase Bank, and Chase Bank does have like a UK office. I don't know if they're in Europe or not. They're going to be the new partner of the Apple Card. So I imagine the Apple Card is probably coming to the UK next year, if I had to make a prediction. And so I imagine maybe the Apple Card will come there. But like, if Klarna is already international, then I bet you're getting Apple Upgrade sometime soon. So brace yourself for that.
Sure, I don't care. It's okay. But now I would rather be like in the negative on my bank account for a few weeks, right? To buy the thing one time and thank whatever madness my bank sends me over email to threaten me to go back into positive. I would rather do that than pay in however many installments.
Now, this is not an option that's going to be available for everybody, but when I bought the Vision Pro, my boss, Leander, bought it, and then I just took a $200 pay cut from my paycheck for the next 18 months.
Wow. Okay.
Which $200 was all I could pay him. And then I was building up no savings. That was not a wise financial investment.
All for a Vision Pro.
Yeah.
Ay.
More on that later in the show.
Ay. Okay.
Coming up next, macOS Tahoe 26.7 is full of references to unreleased Apple products. Apple has leaked its own products. Julie Clover at Mac Rumors compiled a huge list of code names that were referenced in the release candidate, I believe, of macOS Tahoe 26.7, the current version. And I think the theory here is that because macOS Tahoe is going to be the last software update for Intel Macs, they have to add support in 26.7 for all of these products that are coming out like in the next few months.
Yeah.
I don't know if something was left in or if this was the plan all along, but people are able to like go through, find references to code names, which they can then match to products that we know are coming. So what have we got here? The Smart Home Hub. We don't know the name of it, but it's going to be like, iPad on a stick running some home operating system. So, you've got widgets, you've got like a calendar and stuff on a smart home display that you can throw in your kitchen or something. There's a variant believed to be a version with a base and a version that's supposed to be mounted on a wall. We have a new HomePod Mini, the one that's been rumored for a while. No full-size HomePod, just the Mini. I guess, because it's the favorite product. Probably, if I had to guess, that'll be an updated HomePod Mini that'll support Apple Intelligence. Well worth the wait. Pebble, which is a code name for the new Home OS operating system that runs on the HomePod, probably a variant of tvOS or something.
It's called Pebble. I had no idea.
Yeah. Not to be confused with Pebble, the smartwatch company that just came back. And a reference to colors. We don't know what accessory these colors are for, but we've got silver, space gray, starlight, and rose pink, which I believe is a new color in Apple parlance.
At least in French, This reads extremely weird because pink in French is rose. So it's like it's written rose rose. It's so why? It's a very strange name. This will be made fun of. I can guarantee it, at least over here.
Well, if you'd like to buy a Rose HomePod Mini, make sure you stop by the ATM machine on your way.
Yeah.
Any interest in any of these products, like the HomePod with a screen?
The Home Hub,
display?
I think, is like some kind of mythical creature. You know, it's been heard of, it's been seen, it's been reported about, but it does not exist. I refuse to believe in it. I am an anti-home hubist. I don't know how I'm a conspiracy theorist.
No hubs in this home.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't exist. Stop pretending it's real.
They also reference a tabletop robot, and I assumed that was just going to be the version of the HomePod with a stand, and then the stand is going to move it around, and it'd be vaguely robot-like. But they mentioned that as a separate item in the list here with a separate code name. So I don't know what that's
I'm
all
more
about.
intrigued. But otherwise, I'm not super enthused about any of this. The idea that maybe you can mount it on the wall, the Home Hub, I think that's nice. I think we need that product. Like, this product needs to exist. Right now, people are doing very worrying things with old iPads, keeping them permanently on with the battery inside, bolted to their wall in the home. Like, that's not a fire risk or something.
That's a battery disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah. So, and also software-wise, it's terrible having to use the kiosk mode of iPadOS or whatever. Yeah, we need a proper kind of dashboard. This already exists, right? Akara, I believe, makes this for HomeKit. Like some kind of dashboard that you can have in the living room or something. If Apple makes this, I think it would be a good product.
I've got like a rather large, an unusually large kitchen with very little counter space. And like my kitchen is basically like a giant empty square with like a small counter on like one wall in the back.
Yeah.
So where I would actually, and I made up for this, like I have my old desk is just like sitting against a wall, and that's where my toaster oven and stand mixer sit.
Okay.
I've got like a floating island in the middle, which is incredibly helpful, but it's not like that big, and there's also obviously not an outlet on it, so it couldn't go there. So like where I would actually put a home hub, I don't know.
Doesn't have to be in the kitchen. Why do you want it to be in the kitchen?
That's the room you're in when you're planning your day. You'd want to look at a calendar on a wall.
Yeah.
I've got a dining room, but again, like, it's just that's a mostly empty room with a dining room table in the center.
So those are separate? It's not like a single big room?
No.
Okay.
But, well, for clarification, I have an unusually large house with a lot of different rooms. I don't know why.
Okay. So old school style layout with separate rooms.
Well, my house is extremely old and very big. So that's how I was able to afford it. But like a lot of separate rooms. So like the kitchen, I think, is the most natural place where I'd want to put it. There's not really any place in the dining room. Okay. The living room, if I'm in the living room, like I'm already committed to, watching TV or something. So I don't need a calendar in there. I guess I could put something in my office, but in my office, I just have my computer, so I don't need it here. Yeah. I mean, maybe I just don't need this product.
Maybe none of us do,
Yeah.
Like, I think I've made my partners who live with me in the home. We are three in the house, and I'm the only one enthusiast about any smart thing in the home. Yet it's everywhere because I do live here. And the way I've been able to have them deal with any of this is physical stuff, physical buttons everywhere. I went all in on the IKEA tiny buttons that I talked about on Comfort Zone a while ago. These are everywhere in the house, so they can just press on the buttons, and the buttons do one thing each. each, and it's just turn on the lights, turn off the lights. And I have automations in the background to when they press the button, it will select the correct scene depending on the time of day, etc., etc. But they do not need to know about that. They just press a button. Anyway, so if I had this home hub, I would be very happy. I would be the only one to use it though, because it's a touch screen or whatever. And
you've gone the right way. And dumb light bulbs, but smart switches. Yeah. Because I've been to people's houses where like they have to like tape the light switches up. So and like, oh no, you're supposed to like shout at the smart assistant that I'm not going to name to turn on and off the lights. Like, no, you don't want to do that. You want to people who don't have computer science degrees can just like smack a button on a wall and turn on and off the lights. You want it to be that simple.
The bulbs are smart though. It's not. It's not.
Oh, they're
just
smart as well.
Yeah. Because I need to do fancy scenes for the evening, late night. I'm very picky about lighting. I've always been, even before the smart home stuff. So this is why I'm very into it. It's mostly because of lighting stuff. I'm very sensitive to that, and I like having very nice ambiance depending on the time of day, the weather outside, etc., etc.
So do they change color as well? Like you've got like some scenes they're red, they're blue.
I have So our ground floor is like living room, dining room, but this is a very old house too as well, 19th century, and clearly in the ground floor all the walls were knocked down, bar the essentials. So it's just one massive space, which is actually really nice. So it's just the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, all on one big space. And so I have lights scattered all around the place, and some of them are colorful, some of them are just warm, like they go from cold white to warm white. And I adjust all of that throughout the day. And it basically, I just do a time check. In like when you press the button on the wall, like I just have an automation in the HomeKit, and some of them in the Home Assistant. But anyway, just do a time check and a weather check to pick the correct scene to apply at that moment. And in the evening, some of them are pink, like early evening. Some of them are bright pink, but also compensated by warm white as well, so it's not just all pink. It's just nice, but with a touch of pink here and there, so it's actually it feels cozy. And later in the night we moved into dark blue, and then even later into just very soft red, like very, very dim red, so that you can just walk around the house in the night and not have to think about it, because I also have movement detectors. But anyway,
I like that. I just go for like natural colored light bulbs, but because I'm old fashioned, I go for like the warmest light bulbs I can get, and then I just have those in every room. Okay. Except for my office, where I have a few cool lights to compensate for how beige my walls are, and so that at least when I'm on video, I'm like a slightly normal color, and it's not like orange, it's just beige. But in almost every other room in the house, I go for the warmest colored lights I can. Okay. I used to be really into minimalism. I mean, 10 years ago, I'm sure we all were. Minimalism and software was picking up, and It was a thing here, and speculatively, I was like, oh yeah, if I live in a house, I'm going to go for like the clean, like Scandinavian design furniture everywhere, and it was a phase. Thankfully, I grew out of it, but now I go for like, I want my living room to look like as Victorian as possible, and cool lights just don't work there. Anyways, I don't have any smart home stuff in my house, but if I do, you got to make sure you do it right. And at that point, I would probably have a need for a smart home hub. That would be neat. Yeah. Upcoming products that Apple leaked itself, Beats headphones. And there was a separate story about this. They're probably the upcoming Beats 360, which is going to be a new like Beats-esque version of AirPods Max. Like they're going to have sort of similar designs for like the head strap on top. It's going to be like that smooth little like metal joint thing. They're going to be like rounder cups. Interestingly, this is like a weird sort of strategy that Beats does that Apple doesn't do. these headphones have actually already been seen out in the wild because
This is what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them. Like, I'm 99.99% sure I saw them
Mm-hmm.
in Paris at the train station. I was coming back from... What I was coming back from? All right, a work thing. So I was coming back from a work thing, was about to take the train. Massive delays. Like, this was a terrible day, massive delays. And because
Like Deutsche Bahn level delays?
Oh, yeah, because there was a forest fire near Paris. That was pretty catastrophic. And it hit one of the train lines going south, and I could not get home. Nobody could. And that train station was packed, which means people were sat on the floor, people were sat anywhere you could sit because you had to just wait. There was nothing anyone could do. Anyway, I was sat on the floor in one of the hallways of this train station, massive hallways, and then there's this guy that walks by, and so he has pink Beats headphones on, and I can't recognize them. I'm like, so I turn around, I'm like, what is this pair of headphones? Then I text Chris and Matt on iMessage. I tell them, guys, I just saw unreleased Beats headphones. I immediately drew to the most unlikely conclusion, but yet it is the right conclusion, I believe. I saw the unreleased Beats headphones. I don't know who that person was, by the way.
Well, they apparently gave these out to like World Cup players.
I saw, but like, I'm pretty into football. I think I would have recognized that player if that was a player.
Maybe it was just like somebody on their staff who also got one. Like maybe he does like marketing for Ronaldo or something.
Yeah, but they're very recognizable, like because Beats headphones don't look like this usually. Like you said, they're very rounded, and the headband's very thin on the ends with a metal bit sticking out where you're able to adjust it, and the earpad feels like it's floating underneath where the driver is. I don't know how to describe that better. And immediately I remember Chris or Matt, I don't know. Which one? I mix up men, but one of them replied, "Just go talk to them." And I was like, "Are you crazy? I am unable to do this sort of thing."
You're not just going to approach them and ask, "Hey, what's that secret Apple product you've got on your head?"
Go up to somebody. I was like, "Hey, what's that pair of headphones?" I don't do this, but I'm pretty sure. Like I know my Beats headphones. I know.
Did they look like they could be pink? Or rose pink?
Oh no, they were like pale pink, very pale kind of pink. I don't know. Do I have something like this on hand? No. Actually, yeah. You know the AirPods Max that I have, the red ones I have, the first generation. Yeah. Like this kind of pink of the metal part of the ear cups of the AirPods Max.
It's very pale.
Very pale like this, but all plastic. And not shiny like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, equally distinctive, you know? The AirPods Max, like, they've made iconic, like, the whole, like, giant rectangle of metal on the side of your head.
Yeah.
Like, you see that and you're like, okay, those are AirPods Maxes. Yeah. I think the Beats 360, I mean, great name as well for something that's, like, circular and got, like, you know, weird sort of, like, circular joint around the ear cups. Like, that's great fitting name. I think those could be equally iconic as well. It's just strange that Apple does a different marketing strategy for those. Where it's like, yeah, you can just see them in public. Like, we'll just give them to people, famous people who are going to be on TV and like on Twitter and stuff, and they'll just be like wearing an unreleased Apple product. Like that never happens, you know?
But most companies do that in fashion, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that Apple can experiment with their brand because it's only almost an Apple product.
Who was it? Lamine Yamal, right? Who wore them? You don't know who that is.
No.
Only the world champion of football, but okay.
I tried to pull a football player name out of my head, and all I could come up with was Ronaldo.
No, Lamine Yamal, one of the players of the Spain squad who won the World Cup.
Oh,
Yeah.
good for him.
He's very famous.
Okay.
Very young guy.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it. Also, AirPods 4 show up in this leak, which could be, fourth generation AirPods Pro 4, that is. So
the rest of these I did not see in real life, so I don't know. I don't feel impacted by any of these.
Mm-hmm.
Do they exist? I don't think so. I haven't seen them. Like, I can say the Home Hub, it's a mythical creature. I've not seen it. The Beats 360, I've seen them. They are real.
Yeah.
Place your bets on it, believe me.
Well,
the rest of these, nah, not real.
Well, you can see the AirPods with a camera. There's like we'll get to that next.
Okay.
That's a whole thing. We've got the whole iPhone lineup. Nothing surprising there. iPhone Air 2, 18 Pro, Pro Max, 18 Ultra, whatever. I mean, we all know those are coming. That's not a surprise. A new Macs. Interestingly, none of the Macs that were announced this morning. We've got the MacBook Pro, the 14-inch MacBook Pro with the M6 chip that's coming before the end of the year. The iMac, which is supposedly going to have tweaked colors again, but, an upcoming M6 iMac, and the higher-end MacBook Pros, OLED iPad mini headset, which is interesting because John Ternus is apparently killing the Vision Pro. A new Apple TV remote, which indicates that, new Apple TV has been waiting to ship for like a year now, and when it does, it's going to have a tweaked remote again. Curious to see what that's going to be like. Any thoughts on any of these?
The Apple TV remote, they're all bad. We thought they fixed it with the new one. I still hate it very much.
What do you hate about it?
I don't like it. It feels weird. The buttons are not enough travel. I don't like mine. It got crumbs probably in there.
Yeah.
And they feel crunchy. Like there's 100 presses that are felt when you press once on the button.
Oh yeah, my mute button is like that, and that it kind of doesn't click. You just like press it, and you don't feel a click, but then it sometimes mutes. So
exactly.
It doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like it's too tall as well. If I had to criticize
too tall?
it. Yeah, it could be a little shorter because like if I want to hold it how I want to hold it with like the corner like sort of hitting like the bottom palm of my hand like how I hold my phone, then I can't actually reach the buttons on the very top.
I think
little
it's
swipe
fine.
circle.
I think the size is fine, but it's the they need to fix the buttons. The touchpad, D-pad that needs to go away.
Yeah.
ASAP. So many people disable these. I have. Can I show you actually? I do not use this remote.
Do you use the Function 101 remote with all the buttons? That's like a classic
I don't know
TV
what that
remote.
is.
Oh, but they used to sell it at Cult of Mac.
It's all in French. Don't be afraid. If you scroll down, there's a photo of 4 Apple TV remotes, right? And my one is the one on the very left. It's the one provided by my ISP.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So your ISP gives you a new Apple TV remote?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, they don't ship the default one when you get the Apple TV through them. They ship this one instead.
Interesting.
You can pick probably. I
Very
don't remember.
interesting.
And this is very good because the buttons are actual buttons. It has more of them, including the forward and backward buttons, plus and minus, to skip channels. This is useful for the TV app, the actual TV app.
Yeah.
The Siri button is right in front and center. The D-pad is an actual D-pad. I don't know. It's a good remote.
It looks like, if I had to criticize it, I'd say the volume buttons are way up at the top. That feels like a bad place for them to be.
No, I
I feel like
fine.
at an old school like TV remote, they're usually like in the center. So like where you hold it, it's like right under your thumb.
Yeah. No, I think it's fine.
And I think also if I had it, I would take a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and rub off that giant free logo on the bottom.
Sure, you can do that. Yes.
Yeah.
And I like also that it doesn't have a built-in battery. It is just AAA's in the back.
That's nice. You don't have to fish out a lightning cable every 3 months.
Exactly. So this is just very regular Apple remote, all plastic. But again, it's just it's a remote. I don't need this to be metal. And also, your hands would destroy it. It seems.
That's true. That's true. You know, I want one thing out of the new Apple TV remote, and that is I want it to basically have a built-in AirTag. It's ridiculous, like a U1 chip or the second generation ultra-wideband chip, the U2 chip. Like, it's crazy that Apple made the AirTag. And, like, when they were introducing the AirTag, I think they had, like, I specifically remember them, like, having a commercial that had, like, somebody, like, dropping something in their couch and they're, like, digging through it. And, like, it was, like, this comical thing where it was, you know, they were digging through and there was a bunch of other, like, stuff hidden in each the crack of the couch. Like, there was an old iPod in there, like, a little Easter egg. But, like, that's what happens to your own remote, Apple. It gets lost in couch cushions and people can't find it.
Well, I'm now wondering, like, my plastic Apple TV remote, can I open it? It's probably a lot of empty space in there.
Yeah. Could you just drop an AirTag inside there? Like, hot glue it?
That seems possible, right?
Maybe, like, take the AirTag, like, shave the plastic down to make it a little thinner. Maybe just, like, take the innards out of it and then just, like...
Yeah, but I think it's thick
glue
enough.
them inside.
I'm interested.
It can probably go through a thin layer of plastic if you can find an AirTag, like, you know, across the room, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like, you can bury it inside a suitcase and you can still find it. Surely it can go through a layer of plastic.
Of course, yes. But whatever, I don't lose the remote. We don't lose the remote in this house.
I don't lose it a lot either, but, you know, I know this is a problem that afflicts other people.
Yeah.
Talking about AirPods, as we were, I don't know, half an hour ago. You said, "Oh, I don't believe any of these products are coming. I can't see them." Well, if you have macOS 26.7, you can see them. There's a video hidden inside macOS somewhere that actually shows the AirPods with a camera, like, being used in, like, I don't know, it looks like the kind of video that would, like, appear in settings of, like, a, you know, as, like, a quick guide. Like, you know, when you go to, like, change the settings on your trackpad, they have little videos that play that show you how to do the gestures. This is a video that shows the AirPods with a camera in action. So it's a video of a guy who like picks up a book on a table and he looks at it, and then there's a voiceover that says, "With visual intelligence, your world becomes savable. See something you like? Just ask me to save it for later."
Where's the camera?
Well, so that's the thing. So this video that leaked, it kind of looks to me as if it's a placeholder video. Like, this is a product that's still in development. Like Mark Gurman said, it's not actually coming until next year. But if you really, like, analyze the video, it kind of looks like a placeholder because it looks like it was just shot on an iPhone. Like, when the guy walks into frame, you can see the exposure of the video change and the autofocus shifts.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, that's not like a super high production video.
There's, like, this Gaussian blur effect that they put over the beginning and the end. Like, maybe that's a placeholder. Like, you know, in the final version of this video, there are going to be graphics there. So I would imagine that the guy in this video is just wearing regular, like, AirPods Pro 3, not the actual new AirPods. Because, again, I think this looks to me like this is a placeholder video of a work in progress. And I didn't see a lot of other people saying that, but it looks like it was just shot on an iPhone.
Why will this exist? Why is the point? I don't get it.
All of that aside, this is not a good time to launch this product. Other people made the same observation, but, like, AirPods are really one of the, like, unabashed hits of, like, Tim Cook's era of Apple. People are like, "Oh, you know, Tim Cook, he didn't come out with anything new." Apple Watch and AirPods, both of those are major brand new product categories that defined that product. Like, Bluetooth headphones before AirPods were nothing like AirPods. They were terrible. Then AirPods came out. Everybody copied that exact formula, and, like, they've completely reinvented, like, wireless earbuds. Everybody loves AirPods. Why would they sully AirPods with cameras? Because yeah, I know, like tech enthusiasts know, oh, well, the AirPods probably aren't going to like actually take pictures. It'll just be used for visual intelligence. Like, but then Apple has to come out with this complicated message of, oh, they have cameras, but no, not that kind of camera. It's okay, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
People aren't like, that's a really complicated message to explain to people.
Especially right now with all the everything that's happened with the Meta glasses, you do not want to be sneaking around the camera on your face area.
Yeah. And so like Apple would have to toe this line of they have cameras, the cameras are useful, but no, you don't have to worry about the cameras because they're not like cameras. Like that's, you don't want to come out of the gate with having to explain all of that. Apple wants to launch a product with a simple tagline like 1,000 songs in your pocket.
It might be a play to enhance the AirPods' ability to become its own category of devices that doesn't rely on a smartphone. Maybe at some point they can sneak in a better CPU in there. Cellular connectivity. I don't know. But case,
even setting all of that aside, why would I need to look at a book that's already in my house and save for later?
I don't know, man. I don't know. This is like, I don't see the point either. I think this is stupid.
But the canonical example that people always go to is, oh, you can just like look in your fridge and ask what to make for dinner. And it'll just like look at all of the things in your fridge and like give you a recipe. Like that's what people always jump to, I guess. But even that, I have a hard time imagining working properly because it's not going to be like that great of a camera. Even if I were to use like an iPhone camera or even like a DSLR and like take a picture of the inside of my fridge, how well would a computer actually be able to discern what ingredients I have and how much? You know, like if I have like a Tupperware of like a leftover half an onion in the back of the fridge, it's not going to see that. It doesn't know what I have in my pantry, so I'd have to like take a picture of that too, and that's even more crowded. And that's the best case example you can come up with of why I would want to use something like this. I don't know. Like visual intelligence, nobody uses visual intelligence.
How do you trigger it? Where does it happen?
Do you have an iPhone with a camera control?
Yeah.
You have to click and hold the camera control.
Oh. Okay, what do I do? Okay. What can it do with you? I can ask. Okay, what can I... Who are those people on screen? So I pointed it at us two on my screen. What would you like to know? That's what it answered. What would you like to know?
Oh. Okay. Great.
Who
now imagine if you could do that just from your AirPods.
Who are they? It says, what would you like to know?
Fantastic.
Okay, this is cool.
Now that's just because you're not using Siri AI.
Okay. Is it better with Siri AI?
No.
No? Okay.
God, we're living in the future.
And I shall never use this again.
Yep. Now imagine if you were using AirPods instead of your iPhone. Then it would tell you, your hair is in the way. I can't take a picture.
Oh my God, that's so true. Like when I wear AirPods, no one's aware that I do. Like, no one will know.
Oh yeah, like that's another thing. Like leaked in macOS 26.7 is the string to get the most accurate information about things in your environment. Make sure AirPods are not covered.
Oy, oy, oy. You know, Chris, sometimes he does this weird thing where he wears AirPods Pro, and on top of that, he's AirPods Max.
I tried doing that because when I was testing the AirPods Max, I wanted to like test the maximum noise cancellation I could get, and it's really hard to set up because when you wear both of them at the same time, it tries to switch to only using one of them and disconnect. The other one disconnects. You have to like connect them to two separate devices.
Yeah.
What's next? What else have we got? What else is going on over there in Europe? The DMA. We've got a new plot thread starting with this whole Apple suing OpenAI. Well, another one is closing. Apple and the European, they say, Apple and the European Commission have worked in, quote, close collaboration to resolve Apple's disagreements with the Commission over business terms and alternative distribution. So Apple's been fighting the European Commission over its compliance with the DMA tooth and nail for the last few years. Supposedly now they've finally they've finally come up with a mutual agreement on the final terms, the actual terms. They're forcing every developer to like sign on to agree to these new terms. I imagine because they don't think they're going to change again. And so what have we settled on? Well, pretty much exactly what was there before, but with some slight concessions. So Apple still has to certify every app before running on an iPhone. Apple is still the middleman in that regard. You still have to make sure they're signed by Apple. Apple still wants to collect money for every app that runs on an iPhone, even if it's just downloaded through the web outside the App Store or any other store. The main difference after this intense debate is the rates that they charge. So Apple will charge a 26% fee in the App Store and 15% for the small business program in the App Store. You can use an alternative payment method, like instead of using Apple's in-app purchase thing, I don't know, you could probably do PayPal or some equivalent will pop up. And for using alternative payment processors, Apple wants 20% and 10% respectively. If you link to a website for payment, Apple charges 15%. And if you're an Apple developer, you pay 10%. Alternative app marketplaces or apps distributed by the web, Apple still wants 5%.
So there's two possibilities. Either this is not the end of it, which seems likely to me because we've only heard about this from Apple, and the EU Commission is being very quiet about this deal. But also in Europe as well as in the US, but it's the summer, and at least in France, everything's shut down. I would not be surprised if it is just because no one's working right now in Brussels. And maybe they will wake up to this news in September and find out that Apple has announced the final deal that they were not aware about. But jokes aside, I don't think so either it's not the end of it, and we have yet to see what the EU says, or it is indeed something that they have agreed upon, like as a final thing, for real, underscore final v3 dot JPEG, and in which case it's very, very fitting of the EU Commission to end up on a deal like this, considering the current situation, the current geopolitical situation.
That is effectively what Apple proposed in the first place.
Yeah, but also where the EU has come up with these regulations that are very strict and very harsh in terms of their sanctions when they are disobeyed, right? This is both the case for the DMA and the DSA. Those are breached every day. Like the DSA is not being respected by anyone on the internet right now in terms of big tech.
DSA, what's that again?
It's the one that focuses on regulation and targeting platforms that do not take action for hate speech, moderation, all of that. Misinformation as well. Yeah, and
misinformation. That's a solved problem. We fixed
X is
that,
still
right?
online in the EU, so I don't know. The DSA is not being applied. There are investigations being opened under the DSA, but we have yet to hear anything about any of them. And same with the DMA, a bit of the same with the DMA. the EU has shown some strong arming, like the Commission. When I say the EU, we're talking about the Commission specifically here, of course. The Commission here has been strong arming Apple, like being very public about what Apple needs to do and what it can and cannot do. But also it's been very shy to apply any of the fines that are supposed to be applied in those cases, right? And the reason is because Trump is over there just gesticulating and swearing everybody that comes in his way, and protecting his little buddy Tim Cook and his company. So obviously the Commission doesn't want that to go too far, to devolve into too bad of a situation. So yeah, not surprising. It's very, very fitting. This is what they've been doing. They're using those landmark regulations that in theory are very good, like are very forward-looking and should have been a major step toward regulating big tech in Europe, right? And in the world. But because the EU Commission, right now, in the EU Parliament, it's a conservative majority with a huge chunk of far right and all of that. So these are the kind of people we're talking about. The neoliberals as well, working with the conservatives. Sometimes they're the same people. So this is what the EU Commission is made of. And yeah, they've been using those in landmark regulations as leverage instead of actually applying them. And yeah, that's why first I'm going to put forward some demands for the political class. First, the EU needs to be gone in the current state. In its current state, it does not work in so many ways. We could talk about this for hours. But yeah, it needs to be gone in so many ways. It could change its shape, keep the same name. Either that, or we finally get a majority of left and far left into that parliament, so we can kick those people out, actually apply the regulations in place and vote some new ones that are stricter. Even stricter.
Why would you want to apply the laws that you write?
That would be insane. What a strange idea. Like, the Overton window is so far gone that right now, in terms of the EU and big tech, the left is just demanding that the regulations put in place by the right themselves is applied. This is how low of a bar we are at right now. So yeah, not surprised. This is a terrible deal, obviously. Why is Apple taking cuts for any of this?
Just think about it on the Mac. Like, I can write a Mac app and distribute it on my website, and people just download it for free. I don't have to pay Apple anything.
It does not make any sense.
But for some reason, if I do that on an iPhone, I need to pay Apple 5% of a core technology commission. Like, supposedly, like, Apple needs to collect a core technology commission otherwise, because Apple engineers have to put in so much money to develop all these APIs and stuff. Well, if you don't have any of those APIs and you can't write any software and the product is worthless, so Apple's going to invest in their own APIs and infrastructure anyways, whether they get that 5% core technology commission or not.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous. Like, why does Apple need to approve everything that runs on a phone but not my Mac? There's a concept in psychology called the anchoring effect, where if I were to ask you a question and start with like an answer, or like just throw out a number at first before I get your answer, that will influence your answer. Like if I were to ask, how much would you pay for this pen? Like $40, $50? That's going to like influence, okay, well, maybe I don't want to spend that much, but like $30. And you might say like $30 when it's actually only a $20 pen.
Yeah.
This comes up a lot. And like Apple has just, response to the DMA was to throw out all of these ridiculous, insane rules that effectively gut the DMA of being competitive at all. Like the whole point of the DMA was, Apple has been abusing their position as, in the middle of
a gatekeeper.
Yeah, between developers and customers. Apple, you have to go through Apple if you're a developer to reach iPhone customers to run software. If you write an app, it has to go through Apple, and if Apple doesn't like it, tough. Nobody can ever run your app. And that, the DMA was supposed to correct that. Like, smartphones are important enough in the world now. They've embedded themselves in every aspect of our lives, for better or worse, such that the existence of a smartphone is so essential to our core lives that they should be more free. They should be more open. Apple should not be the gatekeeper, because then Apple is gatekeeping like the entire world of possibility of how everybody in the world uses a computer. Apple's rules that they came up with are so Byzantine. I mean, are there any, like, Alt Store is a good example. Like, Alt Store is an alternative app marketplace where you can install apps. But I mean, as far as I know, like, they're doing a great job, Rally Tested and Shane, at running Alt Store, but there's not a lot of apps on there because Apple's rules are so ludicrous that it's not competitive. And they've completely taken the competition out of it.
And that's why, if you look, they were able to set their own rules from the start, and they let them do that.
And that's where I was going with this. Yeah. Apple has set these rules, and the anchoring effect turned the negotiations into, well, you can keep almost all of those rules in place. Now we'll only negotiate on the amount of the fees that you're charging. Yeah. So like the Core Technology Commission, I think it was supposed to be like a higher fee at first, and now it's only 5%, but it still exists. And that doesn't make sense. Because if you look at the DMA and you look at the decisions to respectively consider iOS, the App Store, and iPadOS as gatekeeper platforms, etc., you look at all of that and the conditions in effect, this should not be possible. Like, they should not be able to control what gets through and charge for what gets through. And yet, here we are. But this is why I think this is either of two scenarios, and they are equally likely, I think. Either Apple is being way too forward with this supposed final deal than how final it actually is, and if so, we'll hear about it at some point. Or it's because the commission is afraid of Trump once again, and they're trying to tone the discussion down. I don't think any of this would be a problem if Apple was, at least a benevolent gatekeeper, if they didn't abuse their position as App Store approval, if they allowed a wider variety of apps on the App Store. I mean, just the threat of the DMA, forced them to allow emulators on the App Store for the first time in like 20 years, which hadn't been the case before.
Yeah.
That we can directly thank that for the DMA. Again, like, Apple's argument is, well, we need to be the gatekeeper because we're the only ones keeping the App Store from being like a giant mess of scam and spam and crummy apps. Well, and they always say, oh, we've taken down like, all these tens of thousands of App Store scams in the last year. Well, there are still a lot. They are far from being a perfect system. Like, the App Store approval process is now getting bogged down by like all of these like vibe coded apps that are being submitted to the App Store. And, if Apple is the sole gatekeeper, they just can't keep up with the traffic anymore. Like, we saw Mark Orment was causing a stink of this on ATP. He wanted to launch a new app that was stuck in approval for like 2 weeks because he couldn't get it through.
Yeah.
If Apple is going to be the gatekeeper, they need to be good gatekeepers. You have to approve more than 5 people a day.
Yeah, that's true. What can you say? This is sad. Mm-hmm. This is just sad.
Okay, we've got one more sad story.
I'm not that sad about this one.
Okay, well, for me, Michael Tsai wrote another compilation of news on Apple Vision Pro and software layoffs. Apple is largely shutting down the Vision Pro team focused on gaming, and it is paring down the team that makes immersive video content. Approximately 100 employees who are part of the Vision Products Group have been laid off, with Apple also cutting 100 people from its Siri and software groups. So 200 layoffs in Cupertino, mostly focused on Vision Pro, Siri, and general software engineering. Despite the cuts to the Vision Products Group, employees were told that Vision Pro and Vision OS operating systems are not being eliminated. Yet, at least. We've heard that John Turnus is no big fan of Vision Pro, and the timing is a little suspect because this is like next week he will be the CEO, and all of these cuts are happening.
It's next week?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Next Tuesday.
Okay.
Do you think John Turnus is moving into Tim Cook's office? Like, is there like a CEO office and he's moving? Is he getting an upgrade? I don't know.
Sure, right? Why
Maybe.
not?
I mean, Tim Cook isn't actually going away, though. He'll still be there just as chairman of the board.
Is the board in the same building?
I don't think everybody on the board works at Apple, right? Like,
Yeah.
Al Gore was on the board.
And like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess the chairman is a permanent thing, or is it do you think it's partial time? It's just a few hours in the week.
I'll be honest, I don't know if they had a chairman before Tim Cook.
Oh, that's true. Right. Steve Jobs, right? Was supposed to be or something.
Yeah. In the brief months when he resigned from being CEO before he passed, I think he was chairman of the board.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, Vision Pro jobs are getting cut. and Siri jobs. They staffed up Siri before the launch of Siri AI. Maybe they're cutting down again back to size. Anyways, it's not looking good for the Vision Pro product category with the new head honcho. I gotta say, John Turnus, I'm sure it's probably a wise business decision, but he's not getting off on the right foot for me, at least. The several people who bought a Vision Pro are going to be upset about this.
Who cares? It's okay. We'll be fine.
But, so maybe you don't care about that, but there was another...
No, I don't.
Chris Hansen wrote, "Put them to work fixing bug backlogs if you don't want them working on what they were doing, but don't lay them off and let that show up in the press. There are so many bugs that should be fixed that users encounter in their everyday lives. Just reassign people to work on them. It's stupid to lay off people when they could do that." And you know what? Maybe you don't care about the Vision Pro, but I agree with that take. Maybe that's no big loss, but it's hard to come by good talent at Apple. People who know all of Apple's software, how to write native apps. It's a shrinking pool of people who actually know how to do that and don't just, make Claude do it for them.
To be clear, I'm against all layoffs of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
And I would agree with that part of the statement where, right, these people should not be laid off. No one should be laid off. Mm-hmm. Apple has the money to hire everybody on the freaking planet. So obviously no one should be laid off. My point is the Vision Pro.
Yeah.
No one wants it. So whatever, just move them to other teams. We need good people on the software side of things on the Mac, for instance. I don't know. But yeah.
Apple software quality has been going downhill progressively. Maybe macOS Golden Gate and iOS 27 are maybe a change in the tide there. Maybe Apple is... yeah.
We'll see.
Have you been running the betas?
So I've installed beta 1 and 2 and uninstalled beta 1 and 2. Every time it was a very buggy mess. And I hear, because I read Reddit, because I'm looking to install Golden Gate as soon as possible because anyway, development, etc. So I want to be moving on to Golden Gate when I can, but I just cannot trust any of the things that seem to be very widespread bugs like the most worrying bugs that I'm reading about very regularly when I look up Golden Gate is with animations, like window animations, mission control,
that's a little
expose.
twitchy.
All of that seems very buggy, even in the latest beta. We are at beta 7, I believe.
Yeah.
And seems like most of that is not fixed. And they are still changing some pretty big things. Even though we are in beta 7. So I don't know what's the cycle on what's supposed to be the schedule, but it feels weird. Something feels off.
But the window buttons are glossy now.
I know. Why is that coming in now?
It's very strange. So I wrote
It is very strange.
I wrote a piece on my blog that, talking about like all the changes to Liquid Glass, the user interface design in iOS 27 and macOS 27. And I'm pretty sure I started it with the line of like, it's beta 3 and nothing has really changed yet. So I think we can assume this is going to be the final design. And then like the week after I published that, they released a new beta that introduced a bunch of visual changes, like very late in the cycle. Why didn't they?
I mean, the glossy buttons were in 6, right? In beta 6.
Yeah. But things started changing like immediately after I published that. And now they have new window traffic light controls in macOS, which are great, by the way. They're fun and glossy. But I mean, why weren't they part of the WWDC announcement?
That's true. Like it wasn't anywhere, so it's weird, very weird.
The only logical assumption is that they read my post where I was complaining about how there could be like fun, more liquid glass effects everywhere, and then they just like, oh, okay, let's just add that in then.
But yeah, I'm worried about Golden Gate.
I mean, it's mostly fine. It was a little twitchy at first. I'm not encountering a lot that's bad. I mean, it's going to be released probably like a month from now, so.
The laggy Windows animation stuff, I cannot stand this. Like, this drives me nuts. There can be a single loss of frames. If it's persistent, I will lose my mind. I will downgrade right away. I cannot stand this. For real.
So
like,
you
this is mostly why also I hated Tahoe last year. Because Tahoe was like this. Nothing was fluid anymore. Mac OS is the OS I fell in love with because it looks beautiful, it's fluid, it's smooth, everything looks fancy, it's fun. And then Tahoe came, and it was a nightmare. I turned on reduced motion on my Mac for the first time in my life because I'd rather have no animations than whatever that was. And I felt that again when I installed the Golden Gate betas, and I see and hear that again today when people are just posting about it on Reddit. So I'm worried.
Well, they've got a whole nother month. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
that's like 3 weeks to iron it all out.
Sure, beta 14.
Yeah. What if they just keep it in betas forever?
I mean, that would be good. I think that would be good. Like, they should feel allowed to keep an OS in beta for as long as need be, and not release something that's half-baked as was Tahoe last year.
We'll go straight from macOS 27 beta 52 to macOS 28.
And that's good. And that's all right.
Yeah. I mean, people always talk about macOS 10 Snow Leopard as being like the peak of macOS. And, it was. But the reason why it was the case is because they didn't follow it up with like macOS 10.7 until like 2.5 years later. Like they stuck on macOS 10.6.8 for a long time. And that's why people like idolize that particular version. Because like the initial versions of Snow Leopard weren't actually that much better. They were just as buggy as they always were. In fact, it was like much less stable. I used to get kernel panics all the time on my Mac Mini running Snow Leopard. But people just idolize it because they took like 2 years to do bug fixes on the same version before they released the next version of macOS, and they just don't do that anymore.
That's true.
Now we have caught up. We're now up to
we're on
this morning.
In the present.
Yes.
What happens?
I mean, you're over there 6 hours in the future.
That's true. Yes, and over here, the sun is setting.
Finally, we've got some positive. Just this morning, Apple unveils M6, M5 Ultra chips, and updates its desktop Macs. So this is it's weird that they're like just throwing this out right before they have an event coming out, but I guess they want to clear the decks.
Yeah.
They've got these Mac Minis and these new Mac Mini and Mac Studio that were delayed for a while. I think we had been expecting them like since the summer, but now they're finally out. You know how it is, component prices. Okay, so what have we got? The M6 and M5 Ultra chips. The M6 is Apple's first 2-nanometer chip. I think one of the first in the world. Certainly the first mass-produced on this scale.
Yeah.
It finally adds 2 more CPU cores for the first time in a while, going from 10 to 12. It has a mix of 6 efficiency, 2 performance, and 2 super cores. So with the M5 generation, they wanted to rename the performance cores to efficiency cores, and they introduced a new super core, and they thought, okay, well, they're just changing the names around. But that wasn't just like a temporary thing. Like now we have 3 levels of core permanently, and this is mixing a few of them. So it has 4 performance cores, which used to be efficiency cores, and 2 super cores. It's bizarre. If you're confused, don't worry. So is everybody else.
I'm not confused. You're confused?
No.
No.
But I imagine some people might be confused because I didn't explain it very well, but I guess that's on me. 20% faster single-threaded performance. Good solid update. We've got the M5 Ultra chip, which is a big feature here is that it has new Ultra Fusion technology that connects 2 dual-die M5 Macs to make a quad-die chip. Now, this is a little confusing because you might think, oh, well, there were rumors a long time ago of like Apple making like an actual like quad version of the MX. Is that what this is? No, it's still only double the M5 Max, but the M5 Max itself was of doubling like 2 of the Pro chips or something like that. I don't know. They rejiggered it around. So the new M5 Ultra isn't like the quad chip in that sense. But that aside, we've got 36 CPU cores, 20 for performance, and 12 super, 25% faster single-threaded and 30% faster multi-threaded, 80 GPU cores, 512 gigabytes of memory. I don't think those numbers are boosted, but they discontinued the M3 Ultra in its highest configurations after a while because they couldn't afford to keep making them. And so those specs are now back. You can now get back up to 0.5 terabyte of memory. And these are the products they're going in. We've got the new Mac Mini, which raised the price again, $899 for 16 gigabytes of memory, 256 gigabytes of storage, and an M6 chip. $1,700 for the M5 Pro version, which comes with 24 gigs and 512 gigs of memory and storage. Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6 from Apple's N1 chip. 2.5 gigabit Ethernet is now standard. Thunderbolt 5 is still exclusive to the Pro model, not the base model. What do we think? New Mac Mini.
I'm sad.
Yeah.
Because this sounds all great. It's all so expensive.
New starting price at $900 is a little steep.
Yeah.
I will say, like, Apple Silicon is extremely performant. I think, like, you probably do get, like, $900 out of performance out of a Mac Mini. It was kind of like
sure.
It was a great deal before. Like, unbelievably good deal when it was only $600.
But, like, it's starting at 900 for 256 of storage. That's
the storage and memory is now like the weekend of that. Like it made sense for how much performance you were getting at the kind of like low specs before at $600, but at $900 you really want more than 16 gigs of RAM and 256 of storage. Like my 2008 MacBook Pro that I bought for $500, 4 years old used, like 14 years ago. That had 16 gigabytes of RAM and more storage. We've gone back to like where we were in like the late 80s where we have the performance we want, but memory and storage is still obscenely expensive.
Yeah.
There was like that, then we got up to like the 90s and the early 2000s, and like by the late 2000s, storage was so cheap. You didn't really need to think about it that much. Every computer came with more than enough storage. Now let's watch back. Like then we switched over to flash storage. And like Apple started putting less memory in less storage in their computers because, well, it's SSD storage is more expensive. And we never really increased from that level.
I mean, we did, I guess, but not
to the extent that you would think. Like,
yeah, it's not accessible, kind of. It's not to an accessible extent, let's say. Yeah, this is very, very expensive. The Mac Studio is insane.
Let's talk about that. It's got the M5 Max chip and the M5 Ultra chip. So $2,500 gets you 36 gigabytes of memory and 512 gigs of storage. $5,500 gets you 96 gigabytes of memory and 1 terabyte of storage and an M5 Ultra chip. You can fully load it with the highest configuration M5 Ultra chip, 256 gigabytes of memory and 16 terabytes of storage for $18,300.
Surely there are people who need this, but...
They say the M5 Ultra supports 512 gigabytes of memory, but that option isn't available to order yet. Okay. So if you order any of these, pre-orders are open now, but they don't ship until September 25th. So you're ordering these literally like a month in advance. Something caught out to me, like I was reading Apple's press release, and a big section in the press release is talking about macOS 27 Golden Gate, an operating system that isn't out yet. Because these aren't shipping for another month. It does. And I was like, what? Are these shipping with the beta of Golden Gate? But no, because these aren't shipping until late September.
Oh.
So they're advertising it as having Golden Gate, an operating system that isn't out yet because these Macs aren't coming out for another month.
Yeah.
But on top of that, the 512 gigabyte of memory version of the Mac Studio isn't shipping until October. So 2 months from now. So they won't even tell you how much that costs. I have to imagine, though, that's probably going to be a $24,000 computer.
Yeah. Remember when we were mocking the Mac Pro prices? That was a good time.
Now they're looking pretty good. You could order the Mac Pro with 1.5 terabytes of memory.
Yeah. You know, but also, so there's also the prices that seem insane. But also, the specs seem insane. I have a hard time imagining who needs that much RAM and storage. Of course, the video people, right? And surely there's a handful of them in the world. So, okay, I guess it's fine to ignore those people. Sure, it's your problem. It's not ours. But in terms of the Mac Mini is where I'm more shocked. The base model being so short on memory and storage. That's a very big bummer.
It's interesting how the Mac Mini is now split between the M6 chip and the M5 Pro. They used to split the Mac Studio between the M4 Max and M3 Ultra. And that kind of made sense because the Mac Studio, it's a low volume product. The Ultra chip is a really high configuration that takes long to develop. Whatever. The Mac Studio is that pro computer. Anybody buying an ultra level Mac Studio is getting a generation behind. But the whole reason you buy an Ultra chip is for the multi-core performance, and those are going to be pro video editors anyway. People who need the scientists doing research, people doing massive, composers for film doing massive projects in Logic, that sort of thing. And that made enough sense for the Mac Studio because, again, people buying those are extremely technical. The Mac Mini is now split in the same way because the M6 chip is out, but only the base level M6. There's no M6 Pro, M6 Ultra, M6 Max, whatever. So now when you're buying a Mac Mini, you have to pick between M6, which is newer but, smaller, and M5 Pro, which is older but bigger. And that's forcing that kind of decision making onto prosumer video editors, small businesses, in a way that's probably confusing and uncomfortable.
I don't think it's that uncomfortable. I think we've come to a point where it doesn't really matter.
That's true.
You won't
They're
make a
all
wrong
chips,
choice. Yeah. And you're spending that kind of money anyway, so
Does Tiny Start, your app, Tiny Start, does that run better on a Mac Mini because the Mac Mini is tiny?
Maybe. I don't know.
You should build a special Easter egg for Mac Mini users.
I like. Maybe it could run even better on an Apple TV then.
Yeah, I mean it's even tinier.
Yeah.
I think now that Apple has raised the price of the Mac Mini, they've now given themselves enough room for a Neo Mac Mini to sit below it.
Woof. A Neo Mac Mini. A Mac Neo.
But then on the other hand, almost the entire makeup of a Mac Mini's price is defined by its memory and storage.
Yeah.
And if that's why it's had such a dramatic increase in price, like a 50%.
Yeah.
Is a greater proportion than like the MacBook Air. Only
yeah, the
went up
Neo
like
idea is already dead, I think.
I mean, the MacBook Neo obviously went up in price, but the thing is, the MacBook Neo started at a price that was like $100 below what anybody was guessing in the first place.
Yeah.
So it kind of just like reset its expectation to like, oh, if you had asked me before it was announced, I probably would have guessed it would start at $700, and now it does, and that just kind of makes sense. But man, $900 for 16 gigabytes of memory, 256 of storage. That's
I've
a
seen
lot
it
for
a
Mac.
lot, by the way, the MacBook Neo.
Oh yeah,
In trains. A ton of people have them. I think that people just don't really care about the specs or whatever.
That's true.
They come in the store. They need a new Mac. There's this colorful one. I think maybe they see the price after the fact. Like they come looking for a Mac. They see it's colorful, so they want to look at it. They see the price. Good news. It's not as bad as the other Macs in the store. And yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing, but I've seen them a lot on trains.
But it would be harder to Neo a Mac Mini because so much of the price is already defined by the storage and memory, so you wouldn't have a lot to cut out. I think you could start from the baseline of an Apple TV. Like, take an Apple TV. It already has an A-series chip inside. Take out like the Ethernet port and replace that space with like 2 USB ports. It already has HDMI built in. It already has a power cable. Like, that's all you would need to do to kind of have like and then just install macOS on it. And then you kind of have like a Mac Mini Neo. And I guess we know based on the current Apple TV that, Apple's charging like what, $250 for that? You'd have like probably what, a $350 Mac Mini, Mac Nano?
That'd be a pretty sucky Mac, I think. Considering...
But imagine if it came in bright blue.
Considering like even the slight macOS update that's supposed to be Snow Leopard again, just slows everything to a crawl. Imagine what it would do to an Apple TV.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of our show. You have a podcast announcement to make.
Yes, so you know about Comfort Zone. You've been on.
I'm familiar.
Yes. So we were a podcast hosted by Mac Stories, but we're going to be independent now. And that's why if you subscribe to Comfort Zone already, you've not been getting a new episode last week, and you won't be getting one this week, and probably next week as well. We're on a hiatus while we migrate stuff. The members only show is going away, so it's just going to be the main free show for now. And I think it's going to be a fun, soft reboot of the show where we'll try to refresh the format, try some new ways, and maybe also remove some of the constraints that we've imposed on ourselves regarding the format of the show, where it's just 2 topics and then a challenge. Usually, I think we want to be doing more of the stuff that we've been doing for members exclusively before. Like on the members only episodes, we played games. We've done a ton of tier lists. We've had a lot of banter generally, and it's very fun. And I think we want to bring more of that on the main show, and that's what we'll be doing.
I like a show without format. That's sort of what I've stuck with this show. It's, new episodes will release whenever I have the time to have a guest. I have more time now. I'm not really sticking to any format of news. We just goes on as long as it needs to. We just, I think I gave you probably 2 hours to record today, and we've just gone on for as long as it took for us to cover all the news.
It's been 2 hours.
I guess pretty close on the dot.
There you go.
So I will be back at some point again with a new friend. Thank you for joining me. Be sure to subscribe. Again, I've also gone independent, different circumstances. So sharing the show with anybody who you think might enjoy either in person or in social media or giving us a good review on Apple Podcasts is absolutely essential. It is required. If you've gotten to the end, you must do at least one of those things.
I don't require anything of you. I'm not as mean as Griffin.
I'm leading this podcast. Hey, we might not have a format, but I am leading it with an iron fist.
Okay.
You must do something.
That's a finger, though.
Yes. Okay. I know. Right now, I'm pointing. I'm only really pointing at you, Niléane, but like you, the listener.
I feel pointed at. Is all I'm going to say.
Oh, well, then that's working.
Okay. Can you see that? Like it's fully nighttime now.
Yeah, we've been going on for quite a while.
But it was the end of the day, so there you go.
Well, thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
I guess have a good night.
No, the day is just starting.